hell's happening here? Anyway, I've found a music playlist by Bass Rebels, who I follow on Twitter. So check their stuff out on YouTube, really good, and that's what we're playing in the background, the soundtrack. So anyway, right, so we've got Restream up. I have no idea how it looks. I've just been streaming on YouTube lately, but we'll give it a go, and I don't know what's happening, but anyway, let's go. We're in Celtic, and we're in Division 5, so I've not played this for a wee while. I've been playing Battlefield constantly, so I'll probably be absolutely garbage, but there we go. So let's hope we get another Scottish player. So I'm watching the Twitch page, and let me see if we're alright on. Yep, everything looks alright, but it's going to be hard to switch between the two of them. Anyway guys, I will give it a go. We'll play a couple of games, and if you're watching, thanks for joining us. Let us know how you are, and we'll give you a wee shout out as we prepare to play this game. I don't even know who we're going to come up against, but and what the skill level is, but we'll see what happens. So I playing Battlefield 1 constantly. I've got a couple of games that I got over the Christmas period that I've still to even unwrap. It just shows you how good Battlefield is, but oh no, this camera's terrible. But it will look good for the stream, I suppose. Oh no, I've only actually. It's really bad. Oh, Dembele.
No chance with that one, too high all the way.
Ah, right. Actually, I think I'll change the camera because this is a bit weird.
Tackle here. James Forrest.
Go on, go on. Oh shit. Oh no, what a ball that is. Look at that. You can't even see like the angle that he's coming in at. One big Colo. Ah, save Gordon. Right, next time I get a chance, I will need to switch camera. I'm going to get absolutely destroyed here. I'll do that now actually. So, bear with me for a couple of seconds. I think it was telebroadcast. We'll go with that. I think that was the one I was on before. I've just fallen out. Actually, I found a tip online that if you zoom the camera way out, like you can see the whole pitch. It's supposed to help you get better results, but I just found it was too far away. Oh, look at that.
Celtic on the attack.
Nice.
Well, they're building steadily,
nice.
Working away.
Oh, and it all breaks down. How's this? I'm playing Feyenoord, right? So you guys gonna cross it in? Lovely bit of play there.
Sinclair.
Let's go.
Here's Brown.
Scott Sinclair. This guy is brilliant in this game.
Chance to get some width into this attack. That's a poor cross. Not well
To
hit
get
at
another
all.
chance.
Dealt with by the defending side.
Oh, that would have been superb if it just.
El Hero Elia.
This is it.
Dembele. Celtic looking really to click
Yes.
the attacking side of their game now.
Oh, what a goal! It's James Forrest.
They've opened the scoring here.
Let's jump up in the boards. Oh no. Let's get right through the. What do you call that again? The dugout. That was a great goal actually.
Well, the keeper, he is just flat-footed, and he can only admire that, the way he's hitting
Right into the corner. Superb. I don't know why I'm doing this commentator's voice. I always seem to do this when I'm playing FIFA. Right, so we've got a wee lead here. I've actually been in Division 5 for quite a while now.
Maybe a sight of goal.
I found it like last year's FIFA 17, The higher the division that you go, the more lob abusers you encounter. I suppose everybody just wants to win, don't they? I find like Division 10, even 9, is you get quite good games on it. It's like real football. Just like this. That's it. Let's go. Unlucky there. There, Beaton, he's like another good player for Celtic as well. He's very strong. Oh no. Okay, ball. Great tackle, should I say. We'll get in there. Save! Oh, great defending. The Celtic way. Yeah, I think I'll maybe do a couple of games of this and then I'll go into Battlefield again because it's like an addiction. And wee Welshie, he's trying to get a higher level. Just so he can brag about it, but aye. Great ball. Can we get another goal before half time? Not, maybe not. Colo Toure, Man Mountain himself. Right. I've not played a lot of FUT, the Ultimate Team, in this FIFA 17. Don't know why, because I actually do like it, but you see people spend crazy amounts of money trying to build teams. I just like to build a wee flexible team, not the best of stars, but just a capable team. Oh what? But I mean, I got this. I got FIFA 17 2 days early, and within like 3 days of getting it, people would like Ronaldo and Messi and all the best players, and I'm like, how much are these people spending? Right. Oh, look at that. Oh, I've only got it through there. And there's a commentary voice coming out.
Dirk out. There's good progress with this attack.
Oh, that's good. Oh, no, no. Oh, that's a good goal. Well done, mate.
Well, we thought
Ripped me
we'd
apart
get a
there.
very tight game today, but I have to say, this team playing really, really well.
Well, they are playing well, Martin, and they're getting plenty of shots in on
Oh,
goal.
lovely bit of skill by xJohnnyGeex.
It's looking good, this move. Strong challenge. Good play, but they've lost the ball.
xJohnnyGeex is, I think he's rated 70 in this game, but really decent. As is in real life. Oh, no.
And the board shows 3 added minutes. Sinclair.
Go on.
Here's Brown.
Lovely. Go on, Dembele. Oh, I nearly got to it. And that's half time.
Everything to play for in the second half.
Well. Had more of the possession, had one shot on target, and it was the goal. Good. Right, let's bring on Paddy Roberts. And we'll put Armstrong on as well since he's on fire. And he's rated 76. We'll do a bit of damage. Right, let's go.
Well, the manager's now making a double change.
Okay, let's make an impact right away. That's it.
Here's Roberts. Not rushing it here.
Just build the
Moving
play
from
up.
one side to the other.
Or
Well,
maybe
they've
not.
been thwarted here. That's a sign of better things to come.
Ooh, damn.
Attacking well here.
Cover. So. Yeah, let's make an attack here.
Armstrong.
Space here.
This
Scott
has a
Sinclair.
lot. Sinclair.
Oh, great
Saved by
save,
the
keeper.
goalkeeper at full stretch.
Oh, stop doing the
Corner
commentary
now
voice,
for
please.
Celtic. Goes for it with a fist.
Good if you could actually get like maybe some of the old commentators,
His teammates.
or maybe died. Or what, some of
Made
the,
that look like a
or maybe even
very
that
good
big referee with the scary eyes. Remember him? Kalina. Imagine him in this game.
Trying to switch on the
Okay,
attacking power in this situation.
Oh, and he's got time for a bit of fancy footwork.
When it broke down. Now they've got to try and regain
Spread it
possession.
out. Dembele. Oh, that was a wrong
Great
guy.
interception. Roberts. Referee now saying to Celtic, you can play on, it's your advantage, and they're happy to do that.
Dembele's on the
This is
horse.
an exercise in patience as they try to get an opening.
Oh, shit. That could have been a penalty.
Intercepted well.
So, get my players back.
El Ahmedi. Well, they're in a good position here. Oh, good through ball. And the ball is now with the Celtic players.
Go, 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 go.
Now Brown. Armstrong. Great technique. He's got his shot off.
Oh, Dembele.
Great save.
Really good player, Dembele.
Celtic given the corner.
Actually, 500,000 is a steal if you think about it.
What a good piece of
Celtic.
defensive clearance that was.
But, oh, look at that. Jesus Christ, Craig Gordon, you've got to save this.
Here's the shot.
And he doesn't, and it's embarrassing for Craig Gordon and Celtic.
And they're in front.
Aye, 500,000 for Dembele, that was an absolute bargain. It reminds me of the Larson deal, 650,000 for Feyenoord. And look at the player he turned out to be. I'm not saying Dembele's going to be like anything like Larson, but players aren't as loyal these days.
Celtic looking really to click into the attacking side of their game now.
Build up.
Tackle goes in.
No.
Well, this is how this team can play.
The problem is I'm leaving
Attacking football, but when they
leaving
lose
myself
it,
short
as
in
they've done
defence.
now,
This is a
just
problem.
a risk that
We're playing it for a
quick
while.
break. Count.
Oh, and that's another good goal.
They lead
Damn.
by 2
Started
now.
off so well too.
They'll feel a little bit more
Just lack of games. That's that's what I'm blaming it on anyway.
disadvantage at the moment. Just a reminder,
Got to blame it on something,
3-1
yeah.
it is now, the scoreline.
And I haven't. I've got to say I've not played this for about 2 weeks.
Spotted well by the defender, cut it out.
It's one of the ones when you come on and you play a couple of games and you don't win at all.
Probing away.
You're just like, oh, forget this.
Room for a
Try
shot,
another day.
maybe. Jurgensen. And in he goes with the tackle.
Oh, come on, guys.
Moving forward with some danger to the opposition now they're here. Gonna try.
Just trying to wee chip again.
Good work by the goalkeeper.
No working this time, pal. Let's.
It's a good place to win the ball here.
Damn, gotta get a grip of the ball.
El Ahmedi. Good position. They've worked this attack very well.
Oh no.
To a quite a dangerous position now.
Oh, keep up. Just pegging in here. Right, this is a chance here. Come on. Still actually plenty of time to.
Keeps it going. Shots on.
Oh, there it is, it's Dembele.
They're watching straight away and they
And a goal back, 3-2. This could be the comeback. Let's just go on it because the time's still going.
Sure, the manager's going to switch the
Never mind
tactics.
jumping a bit, celebrating. Let's
They've got
go.
a chance again.
A chance to steal a point here.
Well, they're on the comeback trail, Alan.
Yeah, I can smell something in the air here, I think.
I actually remember playing a game in
Because they look the team
FIFA17
on the
and it was ended at 5-4.
Progress with this
It was one of
attack.
the best games I've ever played in. It was
El Ahmedi.
just amazing.
They're passing so well out there.
And I sent the guy a message after it.
Kick to come.
Just couldn't believe how good the game was. Right, let's go and try and get one. Well, no one. Couple more attacks. Try and win the game. Don't let them go outside.
Plays down the wing,
Go inside.
keeping the wide attack going.
I'm gonna try and keep it down there.
And that's good support as they build this attack.
That's it.
Gets his
Go
foot in
on.
there. Possession isn't everything in football. You can have considerably less and still win.
Shit.
At the moment, neither side dominating the use of the ball.
No, they're not. We've seen some good passive moves, to be fair.
Right, that's
In
fine. Right,
possession,
let's go.
for possession's sake.
Oh, this way. One of the last attacks in.
He's got to rush this now and get the ball as far forward as he can with his goal kick. Keep an eye on the watch because we haven't got that long to go. And the team
Nice.
know that. They can't get too desperate though. They need to keep some sort of poise about their play.
Yeah, they've got to keep the shape. I mean, it's not
Oh no, no.
further centre half and the goalkeeper forward yet, but we're approaching that moment.
Yeah. He was going to do that.
Chunk of added time here. 3 minutes.
Oh,
Attacking now. Changed very quickly. Not as we quite anticipated.
Paddy Roberts
Here's Robert.
using his
Pressing
pace.
forward with an equaliser in mind.
Oh, and never used his skill, and it's all over. It's 3-2.
Right to the very last.
Cannot believe that. We done well at the end there,
It's over, and the final score.
but it was for no reason whatsoever because we get beat. There we go. Right, we'll play another game straight into it. No messing about. Hands are absolutely sweating. So again, guys, if you're watching, thanks for joining us, and remember to like the page, channel, subscribe, whatever, follow. We're on Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. So we're trying out the Restream app to stream to both Twitch and YouTube at the same time. Now, this is the first time I've done it, and I'm just trying to get to grips with it all. Right, everything looks alright so far, but it's the chat. I need to actually use the chat thing in future. But for the meantime, we'll see how it goes. We'll play another game and then we'll come off and we'll come back onto Battlefield just to see what it looks like now with the restream, and then maybe use that in the future for other streams. But I've heard mixed reviews, people getting lag and that, so it's just basically find out for myself what it looks like. It took me long enough to get all the settings right for YouTube, so hopefully it's looking alright. Well, let's get a wee win in this. I'm going to get a win doing that. Right, Scott Brown. Oh, Scott Brown getting absolutely destroyed. There's us, I'm playing Middlesbrough. Oh, it's alright, keep up. Middlesbrough's actually quite a good wee team. I think they've just signed that Rudy Gustedi from Blackburn, is it? Aston Villa.
He's one I know Alan's keeping an eye on here.
He's got all sorts of qualities, but his strength, he's one of those.
This guy's all over us,
Use it to
but
the maximum.
never mind, we'll get big near beat on, big strong man. And Scott Brown is actually having a nightmare here.
Tackle here. The turnover in play.
It calm it down a bit.
The best, Martin, at just shifting across, reading
Start
the
to get
pass.
that momentum going.
Tom Rogic. Attacking well here. Good through pass.
Oh,
Here's the shot.
that was never going to be a goal. Turning and shooting.
To stop that one.
Oh, wait a minute, no, even put it back to the right screen. See, that's how unprofessional I'm going tonight.
Short passes, but they're keeping the ball.
Ah, shit.
Stopped emphatically and just as well.
Got a lot of pace in the team, Middlesbrough.
Good strong tackle. Negredo! what we get to see.
Right,
Of course,
oh, I
this
thought it was a
is
corner.
whether that'll change
Good.
down the years, I'm not sure. But anyway, the
Ah,
replay
look
here
at that.
shows he's got it right.
It's absolutely
He has.
garbage.
I mean, there was no real.
Shots on him.
Craig
Oh,
Gordon
he's
off his
hit that well,
line
but
and
not
off
quite
his
well
head.
enough.
They seem to get my half. Front of me. Actually play a bit a wee bit.
Now he's got the ball. What's he going to do with
We'll
it?
get the ball took off me.
Downing. That's cut out.
Oh, this is a false. Get that.
Trying to find an opening. Not panicking.
This guy is definitely going to be hard to beat. Hard to break down.
Here's Brown. Good position. They've worked this
Trying to
attack
get his
very well.
space.
Got his shot off
Gordon Belly.
now. In quickly.
Oh, there's nobody there.
With middle. Now they've got the ball. Let's see what they can do with it.
Hey, come on. What's it?
It's Celtic on the attack. Great technique. Now he's looking for support. Well, they're building steadily here, working away. That's very good link-up play.
Oh!
He's taken a touch there of the defender.
It's a
It will
corner.
be
I
a
thought
corner.
that. I thought it came off some player. Let's go for the front post here. Oh, the keeper saves it. Valdez. He's
Well,
got
you can
that.
see what they were trying to do. Just a bit too much
Gamer,
light on it.
right.
It's gone straight to the goalkeeper.
Reorganise.
Tom Rogic. Here's Brown. Here's a chance to attack. They've got a great under. The shot's on!
Oh,
What a
great
fine
save again
save.
and great shot by Beaton.
Corner for Celtic.
I didn't actually think I was going to get the shot away there, but I done well. Yeah, let's go right to the front post again and get one of my big
Heads it
guys
towards
up.
goal.
Ah,
Shot
that's
really in
shocking.
the circumstances. Tackle goes in.
Come on.
Celtic. And now the shot.
Oh, I was going to take a
Blocked
wild
the
shot there.
shot well. Now Brown. Shot on. Looked very good indeed, but the move was broken down.
So that's got Rooney.
Negredo.
I'm starting to get
Stuck out a foot.
maybe a bit more of the ball now.
Pass. In strongly. Tom Rogic.
It's got Brown. It's got
Well, they're in a
Brown.
good position here.
The belly. Oh, should have took it.
And
First
it
time.
is a goal kick.
Corner, but no, it's not. What? The free.
He made that look like a poor pass with a very good interception. Tom Rogic. Into the attacking
Getting in the
third.
charge again.
In with a chance.
And Valdez stands up to the challenge.
On the front foot now. They've got
We're
a
getting more of the
corner,
play now.
looking for the goal that would put them in the lead.
Oh shit.
Too high, way over the crossbar. Fourth official has indicated 3 more minutes.
As I say guys, just playing a couple of games to test out the Restream app
Rushing in here,
for streaming
moving from one side to the other.
Well, it's an
to various
important area to win that
platforms at
ball
the same time. Using Twitch and YouTube
Now Brown.
just to see how it pans out. See if I can make it a regular thing, but as I say, I need to
Well, that is
sort the
half-time.
screens out. I've got 2 screens here, so I need to sort out where I can have you know, everything on the one screen, the chat and all that. I know there's a chat app which we need to test out as well, but really it's just to see how Alright mate, hi Gina at GFX, do you want to have a game? Actually this is my last game mate, just to test out this thing mate, but it's good to see that that's shown up in the stream now. I've not been streaming that long, I've been at it and then away from it again and all that, but I'm going to try and make it a regular thing now, so I'll be on more often. I'm trying to get different nights for different games and stuff like that. I've got a schedule sorted. But aye mate, you can add as a friend and oh shoot. Next time we're on, we can get a wee game going, a wee stream, a wee laugh. And understand the Scottish accent, that is. Right. But I can do a couple of accents, but I'm not going to attempt them now. Right, oh, this guy's... He's attempted this shot and it was worth a try. Can't believe it's still not an each. This guy should be out.
Strong challenge.
Like that, this guy should be beating me.
Downing.
Yeah, this is it.
Well read by the defender. Stopped emphatically and just as
What was
well.
it?
The approach play looked very encouraging.
Let's get it going.
It's Celtic on the attack.
Spread it out.
Well to keep the ball. Could get his cross in now. Goes for it with a fist. That's an easy interception. The pass. Got his shot off now.
Well, that could have went anywhere. Getting that scrappy way that you get FIFA games.
Here's Brown.
Let's go.
Could be dangerous. The shot's on.
It's here, Dembele again into the bottom left hand corner. Scores in the 60th minute. Thanks for the message by the way, Hyena GFX, because I didn't even know if that was actually working, the browser source, the chat on the screen, so it's good to see somebody testing it. Thanks mate, really appreciate it. And send us a wee ad. So let's try and tie the points up here. Big goal of Toure.
Comes in with a tackle.
This is it.
Sinclair. Here's an letting the shot
Oh, and Dembele again through on goal.
Scored already, of course.
I did fancy him in that position, I've got to say, having taken his earlier goal.
Starting to get my flow now.
Celtic looking really to click into the attacking side of their game now.
Oh, that's a
They've opened them up
bad
here.
free kick, yeah.
And in goes the cross.
So I just took the free kick actually. They're playing on.
He went
Shit.
in well. Negredo.
That's it. There we go.
Side able to dwell on the ball for
Away we
very long here.
go.
Trying to find an opening. Not panicking.
Oh.
20 minutes now remaining. Good football between these two.
Go on.
Nice passing. Good forward play
Spread it
from
out
them.
right
Good
there.
play
But
until they got that challenge in.
Kieran Tierney
Got the
is
ball
up
away
to the
from him with the
challenge.
tackle. Ramirez. Here's a
Great
chance
stop.
to move forward from midfield after that interception.
It's on again.
Sinclair. Well, they're in a good position here. How frustrating it
Tom Rodgick. Oh, and it's a free kick.
is.
Is it?
Shot
Penalty?
from the
Oh,
free kick.
it's a free kick. Alright. Not one of these for a while, when the last time I got one absolutely skied it, so
man in
That
the
was
wall
poor.
with the free kick. And here's the shot.
Oh, I nearly got a goal with it. What's this guy doing? Is he going to quit? No. Right, we'll bring on Paddy Roberts. And Stuart Armstrong. And maybe Gary Mackay-Steven. Right, there we go.
Regroup now.
So after this game we'll come off and then I'll be back in about 15-20 minutes and we'll be on Battlefield and we'll see if any of the guys are on to squad up and get a wee game on whatever they're playing.
That is a cheap piece of play. A real chance.
Stuart Armstrong nearly makes an impact instantly. Don't like how this game actually, your controller sounds if it's breaking when you're playing it. Sometimes when you're rattling the buttons.
10 minutes left. Good position. They've worked this attack very well.
Going for the wide.
Quite a dangerous position now.
Go on.
Now here's a chance from winning the
Oh,
ball.
that's just put it into the path.
Shot up. He's kept it out.
Okay.
Well, this is fascinating, and the crowd are loving the drama that we're watching here. Just a one goal in it in favour of the home team.
So
Yeah,
I've
careful
got a
that
skill
they don't
there.
start
Oh,
celebrating
no.
too quickly and that the players feel they've won the game before they actually have.
Eric stands up from
Got it back again from his teammate.
zip. Breakaway, Paddy Roberts. Get the pace this wee guy.
Now they've got a chance in this
Oh,
part
shit.
of the pitch. That attack was looking good. Now the opposition have a
Paddy,
chance.
where are you? Just contemplating your pace here. Compliment your pace. And the way to be seen.
Brown.
Right, here we go. This will be one of the last attacks here.
Tackle goes in. It's looking good, this move.
Just try to hold on.
Right.
Oh, and I've done it.
Armstrong. We've got 2 added minutes.
Free kick.
That will be a free kick.
Terrible
against the
tackle.
play. The referee has shown the player a yellow card.
Let's get a big
Right,
call.
just got to be careful now.
Into the attacking third. Armstrong. Now the shot. Good block.
Just actually kept hold it. And there we go, that's the final whistle. And we won. Haha.
That's a good win.
Right guys, we'll
We'll
just call it a day there with FIFA, and just a test out of the restream as I was saying earlier. But join us again on Broadbandits. We're back in about 20 minutes on Battlefield. We'll see if some of the guys are on team up, but if not, we'll just play team deathmatch. And if any of you are up, want to join in, you're very welcome to do so. So see you in a wee bit, and thanks for watching. Take care. Bye bye.